Well, it's the 2nd of August, 2023. This is John in the heat zone again. So today is going to be, I'm here in Southern California, city of Temecula. And so far it's 86 degrees, 11:30 a.m. Supposed to top out at 92. Humidity is really high, so it feels hotter. I'm going to work on this car today. I was going to do it next weekend, but then I see that it's going to be like 100 degrees, probably 10 degrees hotter. So decided to put up my custom. I keep improving on this setup. That's filled with cement, so it won't fall over. But yeah, it gives me some shade. I can move it around. You know, I don't want to get a bunch of sunburn on me. I can't afford it. So today we're going to replace the shock absorbers, front, back, hopefully. The strut mounts, the bump stops, the dust boot. And I think that's it. So I think I'm just going to start by just jacking one side up at a time and get the wheel off. Got two jacks, one to jack up on the side, then a floor jack or jack stand, then one to support the lower control arm so that when you're taking the shock off, it doesn't like cause you problems. All right, well, I got my parts in. This is about $500 right here from FCP Euro, so let's take a look at some of them. So here's the rear shock absorbers. Bilstein. These are still made in Germany, I believe. I didn't see any labels on the box that says otherwise, but you never know. I'll give you a little bit of hardware. Yeah, they give you instructions. I haven't looked at it yet, but I don't know if this part stays on there. I'll have to look, but they give you a bump stop, which is pretty good. And they are stiff. Let's see if I can do this without. I mean, I am really pushing down hard. Oh, I can't even push it down. Let's see if I can. I mean, they are. Whew. Let's see if I can do it here. Yeah, I got all my weight on it. So you want your shocks to come back up like that. Yeah, I'll have to look at the instructions. This is kind of weird. It's kind of weird plastic. It's got metal. This might stay on there for kind of like a dust boot, I guess. It's kind of cheesy, but I like that they're really strong. The front ones, I don't know. I might have to return them. Put this all back. Let's take a look at this. You'll have to read through this some more. I don't think you use that plastic part. It's kind of weird. Doesn't show it in the pictures at all. We'll figure that out when we get there. Yeah, that Bilstein is, oh man, that is strong. For the front, I got a couple of these dust boots. So there's those. These are the shock mounts. Made in Brazil. I mean, that's a good German name for her. Now made in so ZF. That is a company that bought out a lot of names. Like I believe the Saks says ZF also. I kind of researched it, so you know, unless you go to the dealer, maybe the dealer might still get German parts, but you think they would say genuine German. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Man, that is hard. So it's still hard rubber right here. Okay, so there's that. And I got a couple of Marine. I've never heard of that. Heard of Victor Rhines, made in Germany. You just don't know, but these are the bump stops. And then, oh, these are heavy. Here's the Saks. Welds look good. Do not open gas pressure. Feels pretty heavy duty. Let's look at the action on that. I'll put this one right here. These, see how easy they are to go down? I can do it one-handed. Two-handed, it's pretty easy. I go back up. Now these are for, they're for the stock ride. This is what they came with from the factory, supposedly. I'm gonna compare to the ones that I take off. If it's the same action, I'm gonna return these and get the Bilstein. I didn't get the Bilstein because I didn't, I was told on the forum just to get these and keep it normal. They also have an extra heavy duty one. I was gonna get that, but those are for 400Es, 500Es, heavier V8 engine. But like I've said before, I don't know if the coil springs are weak after 30 years. Maybe they are a little bit, but oh yeah. So, whoops. Shock absorbers, $468, $509. A lifetime warranty replacement. So that's kind of cool because it's, you know, if the shocks go bad after 5 years, you get brand new ones for free. Comes with this bag, parts. Made ZF. See, there's that ZF aftermarket again. Made in Turkey. So, so that's a plan of action. And here, let's do the bounce test. Get this thing over here, kind of. Kind of soft. Usually wait till a shock is good as you bounce it up and down, preferably on something level. This is kind of on a slope, so it's deceiving. But it bounces up and down, and it should go, when you let it go, it should go up and then just stop. You know, if it keeps bouncing, it means the shocks are bad. These shocks in the front, I didn't see any leaks, any oil leaks around the shock. When you see that, then you know that the pressure's escaped and the oil's leaking out. But they can still get worn out on the inside, even though they still have pressure and no oil showing. They can just still get worn out. The back's not too bad either. I don't know. I drive it, it seems fine, but maybe going over dips, you notice it. Anyways, we'll check it all out. Let's check the progress on the oil leaks on this car. So I put this piece of cardboard under the car last night after, I don't know, 5-mile drive. Let's see what we got. Wow. Check it out, not one drop. That's pretty good. There's only one other leak left. It comes off to the side, and that's the power steering pump right here. It's pretty hard to see it. The thing with the red is the air conditioning compressor. I guess the pump is really not that big. Take this hose off, this. To get to it, loosen the belt, undo the bolts, pull the thing out. I can see some fluid. Right about there. So they sell reseal kits. I'd have to inspect the right where the pulley is, the shaft seal. Because if it's leaking, then you got to get a special bushing for it. But what this thing does is it leaks and then gets all over the air conditioning compressor. So below you, the other day I was going, what is that? You know, and it just has one drop that drops on the driveway. Not too hard of a deal. I mean, maybe I'll do that in the future. But anyway, so if you got oil leaks, number one thing is the head gasket leaking at the number 6 cylinder over on that side, the very back. There's high pressure oil passageway there that blows out the gasket. I've done this job, this is the 3rd time in 12 years. This time it seems to be holding, and I use that copper spray, if you look at my video, on the head gasket. And I believe that copper spray really help with the leak. And you know, everybody was going, no, don't use anything, just a gasket. Well, you know, that and making sure that the head bolts, when you do it, all the bolts are either new or clean, or they you measure them because they stretch, the bolts stretch, and you measure them to see whether they've still okay to use. Worst thing you don't want to do is when you're tightening head bolts is have one of them snap. But yeah, neighbor Rick over there told me he's been a mechanic for forever, professional mechanic. And I go, you know, what is the deal? How do I get this head gasket to stop leaking? He said, use the copper spray. So that's the number one oil leak. And then I had the oil sender that was leaking. So far, I don't see anything on the ground. It might come back a little bit, but it's a majority of it. There's no more pooling of oil by the oil filter. Like, I've had that for years. You're like, where is that coming from, you know? So anyways, that's a clean cardboard. Okay, I got a jack stand. I got the lift up jack stand in the back for safety. I've got this on a lower control arm because this thing's gonna want to fall forward. So what do we have here? Let's see. It's missing something. I know it's missing the boots. You can see there's no oil or anything. Like I said, I'm going to compare it to the new shock. If it's the exact same action, you know, I'll try it on the ground, and I'm not going to install the new ones. I'll get heavier duty ones. So looks like there's a big nut dealy bob there. There's two. One here. One on the other side. Yeah. Yeah. I think this is attached to the shock, so got to loosen all this stuff up. I've got to try to reuse this, and it's plastic, so try not to break it. I'm going to use two hands. I think I'm going to try to loosen this before loosen all these a little bit before I take it off. That's a 7mm. I'm using one of these. Oh God. I had the whole set of Allen wrenches except a 7, so make sure you got a 7. Throw some juice on there. Oh man. 2 hands. It's loose. 13s, 1, 2, 3. Just making sure they're loose before I start taking everything apart. 19mm on these, and this one was on pretty tight, so I used a hammer. Didn't have a 19, but a 3/4 will work like that, and then just hit it down with the hammer. So I turn my hands into hamburger meat. I always try to think before I do something, am I going to hurt myself doing this? Am I going to get a bruise? Because I easily get bruised, you know. When you get older, you get bruises. Yeah, okay. Okay, I got those 2 off. Now there's this one right here. Now this whole thing, when you loosen this whole assembly here, caliper, rotor, heaviness, will want to come and hit you in the crotch. So I have to find a way of securing it with some wire. Let's see. Will it fit this way? Anyways, you get the picture. What is that? Oh, I guess you could loosen it and just stick it through there and then figure out a way to tie this thing so it doesn't fall all the way down. Maybe that. Or through shock. I think I'll do that. Through this spring mount right there. Just like that. I got a 3/4 or 19 and then a 19 socket. Boom. Just like that. Here to here. Now your shock is free and we can unloosen the top part and get it out. And you can inspect down here. A lot of those bushings are kind of, they could use replacing, but you know what? It's a lot of work. I don't know if you need a press to get everything pressed back in. I have to research that, but for right now, you know, we're just driving it in town and we're not taking it down big mountain roads. Most of these cars, their bushings are all junk, unless they've been kept indoors, like the SL. When they live outside, it's a hard life. That's why homeless people look so gnarly. They look like old bushings. Okay. Man, that sucker is hard getting off. You can only go a little bit at a time. This thing gets in the way of the wrench. It's got to be a better way. Just make sure to saturate it. I think the other side will be easier. It didn't look as rusty. So, yeah. Oh boy, look at that thing. Okay, let's compare it. You know, see, it still works, man. I'm telling you. I don't know. That goes down easily. Goes back up. Goes down easily. Goes back up. You know, I mean, I don't think I'm going to put the new ones on. It's not, you know, any stiffer. It's not any stiffer. You know, I mean, what would you do? You know, maybe these springs are worn. I don't know how to tell when the springs are worn. They're not broken. I think they still look like they're in good shape. Okay, I came up with another theory. I think maybe his only problem is these deteriorating bumps stops. And you can see the new ones. So he's complaining about his car bottoming out when he hits big dips. So these bump stops are they're there to prevent metal on metal contact, you know, when you're going through big dips. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just replace the bump stops on both sides with new ones and see how that goes, and return the new shocks, because, you know, why put them on? It's like $200 and something worth of shock absorbers, and the old ones work just fine, as you can see. All new bump stops. I think that'll cure his problem. So I really never thought there was anything wrong with the shocks. I said, oh, they've only got like 25,000 miles on them. You know, here's the here's the strut mount. Let's take a look at it. This is an original Mercedes part. I'm looking for cracks. You can see a crack there. It is the good side. You can see a crack all the way around. Almost. Let's just start on this side. Yeah. Yeah. This is the Lemforder. Pretty much the same thing. No cracks. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. They can only go in one way, so it's all good. And we'll put these guys on the old shock since I bought that, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, researching it, you know, and seeing how much is missing out of this thing, that would cause your car to bottom out. I mean, really bad shocks would bottom out also, but even with good shocks, if these are not in good shape, you'll get metal on metal when you bottom out to go through a dip. All right. So many damn sirens here. There's a fire station up the hill there. And it's a real busy intersection down here, shopping center, so they come down the hill. There's ambulances, paramedics, fire engines all day long. Used to be really quiet when I moved here 20 years ago, but now that the city's grown, it's just like, you know, I moved away from Orange County because I was living under an airport. I got sick and tired of the airplanes I got here, and I go, God, it's so quiet and peaceful here. Not anymore. Yeah, you just want to pull that down over that plastic ring that's already there on the shock. You should have one on there from factory. That's what holds this boot, and then you've got this. Then you can put it back on. Oh, got to put the shock mount on too. Okay, got it back on. Looks better. So now there's that bump stop up there. That's really going to help out. It goes all the way up like that. So that's going to help it from bottoming out. So I don't think there's anything really wrong with that shock, unless the new ones are pieces of junk and are soft like that. But it's supposed to be a Mercedes with a luxurious ride. So yeah, it's fun getting it back on. What I did is I just got the rod up there without putting a nut on it, and then with that other jack down there, it's either up or down, and moving this thing, be able to get this one bolt in through first, and then lining up the other ones. Wouldn't line up, so I let the jack down a little bit, take this and boom, boom, boom. I took the rubber hammer and kind of hit this, and it just fell into place. Yeah, it can be a struggle, so don't struggle. Anyways, I'm ready to put the tire on this and do the other one. Yeah, when I tighten this nut down, you hold it with that Allen thing. And as far as the torque on it, you can look it up, but I just basically did it pretty much just like the original factory one. All these are tight. It's all in the right alignment. It's done. Okay, just for demonstration purposes, keep your eye on this area right here. Okay, it's going to go up and down. Now I'm going to push on it. See how we just Goes up and down, it goes up and then just stops. That's good. That's good. If it kept bouncing, then you know you got bad shocks. Yeah, looking at this rear shock, I mean, there's no oil. Still looks in really good shape. I don't think I'm gonna replace it. Back end doesn't seem bad, yeah. Kind of a huge waste of time and money, but my son wanted to buy new shocks, but you know, if you're gonna buy something new, have them a little stiffer. But I think these are fine. I tested the rear. There's really no bounce or anything. So I think that those bump stops will fix the problem. Good time to inspect. Still got some meat on the brake pads. A little bit of a lip right there. Yeah. Yeah, if you are replacing the rear shocks, pretty easy. Just bolts down there. And then right here. Yeah, it's a foam washer, is perfectly fine. And you access this in the trunk, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, you can really struggle on some of these wheels, you know, trying to line them up. So what I do is first I get it up there with my feet. I have both feet right here, so I can bring it up and get it centered over that lip. And then with this, I kind of turn the wheel back and forth until it goes into that hole. And then I can just put the lug nuts in, because these things will throw your back out. You know, already feel it. Yeah, they can throw your back out. I know Mercedes Source sells one of these things. It's like just a big threaded thing that you thread in there, and then you put the wheel over that, and it helps you along. But I don't have one of those. That thing works just fine. Plus you got to pick the wheel up and try to get it over that threaded rod, and you got to be able to look on the inside, because, you know, unless you're Arnold Schwarzenegger and you can just pick it up like this and squat down and look at it, it's really hard to do. Okay, here's the driver's side. All original. Well, I did replace these about 25, 30,000 miles ago maybe. But these sack. Okay, here's the driver's side. All original. Well, I did replace these about 25, 30,000 miles ago maybe. But these sack shock absorbers, they last a really long time. They're OEM for Mercedes. So I'm gonna take it off. That one still has a little bit of a bump stop. Might as well replace it and put a boot on there. Yeah, we'll test it out. Yeah, now here's the driver's side. See, it's all been chewed away. So make sure you get new ones of these when you replace your shocks, or if you have a problem like what we do. This is still just goes back. It's fine. Well, at least it wasn't a complete waste of time. Yeah, it's cracking. Yeah, it's cracking. All the way around. So I feel better. I'm not totally wasting my time. At least we're getting new strut mounts. People do that just, you know, because they get bad and their shocks are still good. And new bump stops. So there. All right, I'm done. Don't really need to take it for a test drive because I know how it'll perform. Okay, let's see how it bounces now. Should be about the same, I think. Yeah, you see how it goes down, and then when I let go, it just goes back up and stays there. So we're all good for today. So we got new strut mounts. We've got new bump stops. We've got new boots to protect the shock absorber that's there. I had a chance to rotate the tires on the other side. I did this side last time I painted these. So now we got rotated tires, all even. I'm going to return those other shocks. My son said, well, if it costs $100 to ship them back, just keep them. I'm like, okay, I'll put them in the trunk of your car, but I'm not putting those back on because there's nothing, wrong with the old ones. So anyway, so that's about a wrap for the video. And we've got these old nasty bump stops and nasty strut mounts, and that's how I do it. It's not really hard. It's just a lot of physical labor, Okay, I'll see you next time.